For cheap games, check out g2a.com, link in description. Well, hello there people from the internet, I am the Russian Sniper, and today we're playing one of the greatest Battlefield DLCs there ever was, and that is Battlefield Bad Company 2 Vietnam DLC. This dropped around Christmas of 2010, and it's nearly 6 years old, and this has to be still one of the best DLCs that ever was for a Battlefield game. Now, I remember when this dropped, and even though today it's not as it used to be, it's not as strong, people still play it, but mostly on modded servers, and you'll notice there's a little bit of choppiness in this. From time to time, you sort of freeze for half a second or something like that. Now, that's just because nobody really plays the regular vanilla servers anymore. Most of them play the modded servers where, say, on Vantage Point, you had choppers flying around. They kind of been replaced with tanks, and there's like a ton of scripts that tell you all sorts of stupid messages on the screen these days, but you can still have your fun, you can still get in, and I think just everybody wants to get to be General of the Army, which I don't really see why that makes a difference, but hey, nevertheless, everybody's going for it, and I mean, you can see that you're getting a 10,000 just for a kill like that, so yeah. I mean, I don't need the XP or anything like that, I just wanted to have some fun, but I think the addition to the maps being open, they do sort of make it a little bit better sometimes, because you have a lot more freedom, you can move a lot more. I mean, you're not constricted to just having that small map that you played on. Even though there's not tiny maps, anything like that, you still had the opportunity to sort of move on a little bit on the modded servers, and you'd have people sniping from the middle of the woods and trying to be just all LMG. It's just cool, and I really love getting back into it. I still had a lot of fun. And since I'm going to go and play Battlefield 1 in about a week's time, which is going to be this Sunday on the 12th of June, I'm going to play Battlefield 1. Obviously, it's going to be set in World War 1, so I kind of wanted to get back to the basics a little bit with some older Battlefields. I played a bit of 1942, a bit of 1943, I played some Vietnam. Now you're probably thinking, well, Vietnam is not quite as old as you want to think it is, because they still had scopes and stuff like that. Well, mostly the sniper rifles had scopes. Most of the weapons don't actually have any scopes, and I kind of wanted to get used to the iron sights. Played a little bit of Red Orchestra 2, played a bit of Heroes and Generals. You're sort of just getting used to how it was back in the day when skill mattered. You know, these days everything's sort of UMAV, UCAV, rangefinder. Oh, I know he's 212 meters, I'll just adjust for that, and then that's it. You know, you don't really have to use your millidots as much as you did back in those days and compensate for the bullet drop and things like that. So I think that's the reason why I just wanted to go back and play some older Battlefield games just before we play Battlefield 1, just to sort of get the feel of it again. It's like I mentioned before in previous videos, it's like riding a bike. You don't forget it, you just get rusty at it, and then it'll come back to you. You just need a bit of practice. And now that I've got my practice, I'm ready for Battlefield 1. It's only going to be another week or so when we'll get to play it. And I'm really excited. I mean, I'd love to see what's going to happen. I mean, even though the Battlefield 1 sort of trailer dropped a while back, and it's what, a 50-second trailer, I think it's been milked to death by now by people on the internet. It's like, what skin do you want to have? What hat do you want to have? What customization do you want to have? What? It's just been done to shit. You know, people are whoring the shit out of that. So I'm really just looking forward to some multiplayer gameplay that I'm going to be playing myself, recording as much as I can and bringing it back and seeing what the game is going to be all about. I mean, personally, as I said in previous videos, I still want the fun to be back. I still want the skill to be back in games. You know, lately it's not been any of that because they sort of went out a different direction. Everything's been modern, everything's lock-ons and forget about weapons. And that's what put a lot of people off. You know, a lot of people kind of left because of that reason after Battlefield 3. They played a little bit of Battlefield 4, but when you see the amount of lock-ons and the amount of sort of weapons that you can just sort of point, shoot, and forget about sort of weapons, it's getting a bit stupid. So I think having a game like Battlefield 1 with that technology that was back in those days come back and bringing some of the fun back into a Battlefield game, I think that's what's exactly what is needed for 2016. Everybody's been sick of modern military shooters, and it's only fair that we get to see a Battlefield where we're going back and skill is going to be the base game. You know, you're going to have to use your millidots, you're going to have to use a lot more skill rather than just using stuff to range weapons. And like, I mean, the modern snipers these days, although they're fun to use, they don't require as much skill as you did back in the day where you literally had to adjust for everything. So kind of, yeah, I want to see the fun return to the Battlefield game. I really want to see some of that old magic that used to happen back in the day in the older Battlefield games. Now, if you're new to the franchise and you've been playing Battlefield since Battlefield 3, 4, Hardline, you might be hearing that a couple of times from different channels that have been uploading videos. I mean, there's not that many of us really out there that made videos back in those days. I mean, the only people that I kind of remember making videos in 2010 while I was making Bad Company 2 video was Clint Eastwood, it was the Russian Badger, it was Big Mooney. There was a couple of people that I knew that were playing those games back in those days. I mean, most of the people that you watch now, they didn't exist back then. They were watching us playing Bad Company and just uploading videos. And I think after all these years of being sort of modern and all that with Mavs and UCAVs and lock-ons, I think it's time that we go back to a good game where skill matters again. You know, it's going to take you a little bit of time to adjust to it. You're going to have to be a bit more tactical about it. You're going to have to find your footing before you can get into the game. You can't just do what you say you do in Battlefield 4, where you can just sit in your spawn basically and keep launching UCAVs at people and going 20-0 just because you sat in a base or you hid behind a bush, while giving yourself ammo and just throwing UCAVs and UMAVs at people and getting 20 kills and not dying once and then going, hey man, look, 20-0. Yeah, but that's not really skilled, bruv. But hey, that doesn't matter. It's only going to be another week. We'll get to see some multiplayer. We'll have some fun. We'll record as much as we can. And then we'll see what the next Battlefield is going to be. I really hope it's going to be an awesome one. That's my bit for today. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.